Hey, so not everyone is going to need to use FMLS. It is really more based out of the Atlanta area and just has this not perfectly round perimeter around Atlanta. And it does go up to, it kind of covers Pickens and most certainly will cover Cherokee County, Georgia. And most certainly will be the MLS preference for Dahlonega, Dawsonville, that sort of area, into Cartersville, also that area. It's a hit and a miss when it comes to Gilmer and Fannin, or even further north. You do have a lot of agents in Atlanta that will list up here for whatever reason. They're not always listed in Northeast Georgia. So if you're trying to look for like, hey, am I making sure I'm not missing over anything? You might want to dabble into FMLS. Now, there is a fee for when you close an FMLS, if you list it, or even if you represent a buyer and the listing was on FMLS, there is so it's the sales price times 0.12%. Yes, I know that's 0.0012. But again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it certainly adds up, especially when it's on the sales price. So a $350,000 property times 0.12%, that's $420 fee that is paid to FMLS. So some people use it, some people don't. I personally am on the bandwagon that I would rather have my listings be seen everywhere, and it is just it is a fee, and it is what it is. I can't control it. I would just rather have my listings be seen in all areas, especially depending on where they're located. And then also I'd rather be able to see all listings as it pertains to my clients. So yeah, Pickens very much is in FMLS, and of course anything further south is as well. But you will have the occasional North Georgia agents that even though they're listing in Pickens, they're not putting it in FMLS. So yeah. Anyway, so this is the main site. When I just typed in FMLS, I just type fmls.com. It takes you to firstmls.com. So we're going to hit the login over here on the top. And 100% honest, I do not pay attention to any of these icons except for Matrix. Matrix is my search. I do not touch any of this other stuff. I just don't. So you don't have to worry about it either. What you need is in Matrix. Okay. So it's a pretty darn cool system, I will say. If you don't like Navica, or you do like Navica because it's simple, straight to the point, and a little archaic, that's fine. This is pretty cool. My Matrix, you got your dashboard. You can set up saved searches for yourself, auto emails, so that as properties come up that fit a criteria, it's automatically sent out to you. My listings, this is also where you're going to come in and create listings, but predominantly I use it for searches. So I'll come over here to search. I just want residential. You can search for agent even. I'm going to do a right click. I'll come to that in a second. So crazy enough, over the years, FMLS has joined forces with Gulf Coast, East Alabama, Middle Georgia, Greater Alabama, Greater Chattanooga. I don't know why. I don't know why. Because, like, yes, I'm licensed in Georgia for all of Georgia, but I'm not part of Georgia, Middle Georgia MLS. So they have their own MLS as well. And FMLS, I think, is trying to get a piece of the pie. So I can see listings somewhat when I search, when I click on Middle Georgia up here at the top, and then I might type in Monroe County, my hometown. And it'll come up with 43 matches. I know there's a lot more for sale down there. So not everything will show up, and it looks a little wonky. It looks a little like all the information's not in there. Doesn't matter. All I need is first MLS. That's going to give me the North Metro, Atlanta, North Georgia area. It's a little different over here. Like I'm going to click on here on the price. So you can search by the thousands, right? You can search if you want exactly 100,000, you can just type in 100. because you obviously have the 000 over here. If you want it to be greater than 100, you put 100 plus. If you want it to be a max of 100 or 100 and less, then you do 100 minus. So everything that's 100,000 and less will pop up, right? Oh, here's examples. That's this even better. Let's look at this side. Examples, enter 10 for exactly 10. Enter 10 through dash 50 for this range. So 10,000 through 50,000. Use 10 plus for more than 10. Use 10 less for less. Yep, that's exactly it. So there's times where I'm like, I know my client doesn't want a mobile. I know that they want to be roughly around 450. So I might put 400 to 500, right? 400,000 to $500,000 on the pricing. If I know that people will put 3-2, well, that's only going to give you exactly 3 bedrooms, exactly 2 baths. No, I want 3 plus. If it happens to be 4, great. If it happens to be a 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom, great. I don't typically type in square footage because if you put anything in there, you're not going to see the listings where the agents literally put 0. So it could be a 6,000 square foot home. Doesn't matter. If the agent did not put in square footage, it's not going to pull up. So I don't touch that. If your clients are adamant that it needs to have some acreage, then like 1 plus or 1 through 7 or 8 or whatever the case may be. But again, the more details I put into this criteria, the less I'm going to get, right? County. Again, because we have all of these associations over here on the left, when I type in Cherokee, I had to designate that it's Georgia. Is that annoying? Yes. Has it always been like that? No. Also, something else to note, residential attached, condominium, single family, or townhome. So typically, again, this is the standard. Residential detached is what's connected. FMLS is actually one of the only ones that will tell you what's coming soon. So not yet on the market, but it's coming. Active under contract is really going to be your under due diligence phase. And then when it comes out of due diligence, this MLS will pop it to pending. So if I'm searching for a true buyer, then I might be 300, 450, 3 plus, 2 plus, perfect. County, of course, Pickens, and then I comma, and then Cherokee, and then comma, Gilmer. All right. Subdivision. If what's cool is that again, I'm hovering over this a little bit. If the full, oh, wait, come on. If the full name is not known or the spelling is unclear, use the asterisk. Using the exclamation to exclude a certain value. Huh. That I did not know. That's cool. Of course, using a comma to separate parameters. So like subdivision, there is a community here in Pickens. It's called the Preserve at Sharp Mountain. However, it all depends on what that listing agent put in. You're at the mercy of what they put in. So if that agent just put the preserve, well, if you put this whole entire sentence, it might not pop up. Or if you put preserve at Sharp Mountain, it might not pop up. Some people put just preserve. Some people put the preserve. Some people, you don't know. So sometimes it's nice to put preserve, Sharp, boom, 4 matches, results. There we go. So Worley preserve. Okay, and look at that. It says preserves. That's interesting. Go to criteria. And I'm like, it didn't give me exactly what I wanted. It wasn't the preserve at the, which I don't know is only in Pickens, but so maybe it could be the price point. So I'm going to start deleting some details. Again, less is more. Look at that. At the bottom left, it tells you how many matches you got. Okay, result. Bum, ba, bum. Bingo! This is exactly what I wanted to show you, right? We've got preserve at Canyon Ridge. We got preserve at Long Swamp. Governor's Preserve. Governor's Preserve. Okay, that spelling is correct. Worley Preserve. The Preserve at Sharp Mountain. The Preserve at Sharp Mountain. The Estates at Sharp Mountain. Oh, that's ball ground. That's different. But you can see how I'm actually going to click on the these columns actually allow you to click around and move some things. So I'm going to click on subdivision complex at the top. Okay, nice. So this spelling on Governor's Preserve is the same. Preserve at Howell Bridge is the same. I'm trying to see how the Highlands at Sharp Mountain, preserve it. Right? Okay. But look at this. I love how she did this because here's an S. Here's an S. It might not have popped up. You just don't know. So that's just a really cool feature with the little stars on the 8 button. If you need to put in like a specific, if you're looking for something specific. Um, let's see. You can also scroll through and make a couple of other changes if you want to. Again, we have 1,600 matches. You can also look at additional fields. You can add and remove. So again, this is kind of the basic stuff, but over the years, I've needed to add in a couple of things like accessibility features for whatever reason. I can add and remove that. Hey, it needs to have at least one fireplace plus. Like that's super important to my client, and I didn't want to pull any listings without that feature. The master bathroom interior, it needs to have, I don't know, wet bar, flooring, other structures. It needs to have a guest house, or it needs to make sure that it has like an outdoor kitchen or an outbuilding or something. And notice down here, it also says and or not. Now I know Navica also offers this as well. So does this one. I can also search by listing agent ID. So you're like, I know that one of my friends has a listing. Nope. How we do that actually up here at the top, you can search by agent. So I've got a friend. I'm going to put her on blast. She must have just gone under. Oh yeah, there's only one person. Sorry. I'm going to copy her agent ID and I'm going to hunt down and see what listing agent ID 0. Probably. Huh. Let's take out the fireplaces. Let's clear out everything. 4. Probably because of zero. Yep, every time I make a change, none. Okay. Results. So I can see everything that Cassie has listed and where. Because I'm like, ooh, I know I saw on Facebook Cassie had posted, but I can't remember what address that was. Where is it? And here's all of her active listings at the moment. Now notice up here at the toggle at the top, we've got criteria, we've got map. So now we can see all of her listings by map, and we've got results, right? I think if you click on the address, it'll show it to you on the map. But what's cool is that I can highlight all of her properties and I can hit refine. And let's just say I do narrow. I only wanted to see those properties, or I could have clicked on one and I said, discard this one that I have highlighted. I only want this one. All right. You can also go to activity actions and hit share link, generate link. Now all of a sudden I can text that or email that to a client, right? So let's go back to criteria. I'm going to take her out. Let's hit clear. Let's just start over fresh. Okay, clear, residential, detached. Okay, got it. State, Georgia. Let's get that. Something that I want to tell you for comps purposes and stats and stuff. I'm going to do 2 different options. Arbor Hills is in Pickens. There's also another one in a different county. I want active, under contract, pending, and closed in Arbor Hills. Now note that when I click on these on the left-hand side, it's 0 to 180 days. If I need longer, I can change it. If I want like only in the last 2 months, I can change it 0 to 60 days, 0 to 365 days. I want to see everything that's gone over with them in the last 365 days. That goes from 4 to 8. Okay, great. And now I didn't tell it any other parameters other than I didn't tell it anything other than community and county, right? So hit results. It's going to take us to the results. And I got 2 active and 6 closed, right? Just for quick. Now this is a cookie cutter community neighborhood, right? In Pickens. So the majority of the properties are all kind of in alignment and the same. So I'm going to click on all of this. I'm going to come over here. I'm in actions at the bottom, green, come all the way. It says quick CMA. I click that and all of a sudden, boom. So I've got my actives up here at the top and then I have my closed down here, right? So you can kind of see it gives its summary. I love the little icons to kind of give you an idea. Half bath, full bath, bedroom, square footage, price per square foot. Price per square foot helps in a community like this that's cookie cutter. We all know living in North Georgia, that's very difficult when it comes to like cabins and all that other stuff, right? So you can see when it goes to closing costs and list price and original list price. So I love this little percentage sign. This is sales price to the original list price. So this particular house, 88 Arbor Hills Trail, sellers got almost 97% of original list price. This one got 101%, 100%, 96, 97. Now you're going to get the minimum, the maximum, the average percentage, and the median percentage, right? Kicks out that top and the bottom. So like I would say roughly this community typically gets 97, 98% of original list price. You know, they're kind of on point here. You can see the days on market. So that's currently how many days on market. This is so on average 54, median 50. Okay. So about a month and a half, almost 2 months that it takes for it to close. So you can send this to your clients. Now, the challenge is that when they are not in a cookie cutter neighborhood. So I'm going to use this address to, I've been in that house. Wow, it sold again? When did it close? Oh, that was last year. Okay, sorry. I'm like, this house keeps selling. It's crazy. They have a pool in the backyard and everything. It's really pretty, but interesting layout. Let's see. Okay, so here's my subject property. I'm going to go up here to search. I'm going to right click on residential. I want it in a new tab. If it's not in a community, so we're going to pretend this is like on the side of the road, right? Okay, fine. I want to search. I want to start with, I want my search parameter to be small to start with, right? But yet large enough. I'm going to pick the elementary school. Typically, their school districts, they're all lumped, you know, in one area. So I'm going to hit school district. I'm going to hit Harmony. So I need it to be in Pickens. I need it to be, so I'm trying to find comps in a community that, for a house that's not in a community. Elementary right here, Harmony. Perfect. That gives me 40 matches already. Okay, well, this house is 4-3. I kind of want it to be at least, I'd say 3 to 5 bedrooms, 2 to 4 bathrooms, maybe, just depending. Sometimes I'll also throw in the zip code and that'll kind of help narrow some things down. Oh, now we got 3. Maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe that's too much. 32 to 3. Yeah, let's not do the zip code. What else? Sometimes I'll keep an eye on square footage, 25, 26, but again, that could kick out a lot. Year built 1999, so I might say, hey, between 1990 to 1999, so 2009, so 10 years both ways, or 5 years both ways. We can do that too. 1994 to 2004. We got down to 5. All right. This was listed, or we were trying to figure out a list date. We're in the 400s. These are in the 200s, 300s, 200s. Clearly, that's not going to be the same. So that's when we really start to look at it. You're like, yeah, mobile, that's not going to work. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, back to the drawing board. Go back to criteria at the top here. This is obviously too small. We need all of Pickens. I can also come down here and say, I'm looking for community features. I do not, because I'm looking at Olive Pickens, I do not want it to be gated or a golf, oops, shift, yeah. Golf, it doesn't need to have a fitness center or a homeowners association. Oh, maybe not shift, maybe command. There we go. Um, doesn't need to have a playground or a pool, just so that I can be more like my property. I can also tell it architectural style, not a mobile, right? Um, I can also give it that kind of parameters, kind of like I don't want anything under 200 because I know that's going to be typical mobile. And I don't think it's going to be priced over 500. So I can also narrow it down that way. Lovely how it gives me 0. All right, we'll take that off. What do I have? 19. Oh, I think I put it in MLS. My bad. 200 to 500. Is that what I did? Yes, that's what I did. So 9. Okay, give me some results. Okay. Okay, that's 2-story. It's a 3-2, 2,000 square feet. It's not 100%, but it gives us something to go with. 2-story, 16. Oof, that's too much square feet difference. 32, 2-story. Okay. So I'm clicking on this, the little checkbox, right? Next, we got another 2-story, 2,500 square feet. Great. We're getting a little closer. 2-story, 4-2, 2,100 square feet. Marble Hill might be a little too far, but we'll see. This doesn't look anything like the property, and it's 3,600 square feet. It's quite different. And of course, we're looking for typically solds, but we also want to give people actives as well, especially when it's like on the sale side. We want to give them actives, pendings, and solds to consider when it comes to coming up with their list price. On the buyer side, we're just really looking at comps. We're looking at solds. So agent single line display, because we're looking at the main picture. So we got these highlighted. I'm going to hit refine and narrow because I want to keep these. All right, 4. Great. Actions, go to quick CMA. Boom. Funny enough, these are all actives or not solds, but I'm just wanting to give y'all an idea of what I'm looking at. So that gives you just kind of, this is how you run comps the old-fashioned way. Sometimes they're not always in subdivisions. Obviously, my example is, and you just have to override AI and just hunt it down and comb through it by hand yourself. And that's where we are better than Zillow, because Zillow is just AI. They're just computing numbers to numbers. They obviously can't tell the difference between some of these houses where, I open it up and I'm like, ooh, this is not quite exactly the same. So even if you have to open up the photos and you're like, oh, this is a complete gut job. This is like, you're able to take that into consideration. This one's still listed. Okay. I helped them buy that house a couple of years ago, and she's not done anything to it. So I'm surprised. Design boards transform, and like, here's what it could look if you did the work, but clearly they didn't do any of the work. So interesting. But yeah, quick and simple, dirty way. That's FMLS a little bit for you, and that's comps.